Hello, everybody. Welcome to the NobCast. England have lost, and they're out of the World Cup. And I'm upset. Not going to lie. Gaskey, you upset as well, mate?
Let's start the podcast with some positivity, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm gutted. I'm gutted.
Yeah, don't worry, chaps. We'll be having maybe it'll be a meltdown. I'm not sure. But we'll be having a chat, obviously, about England's defeat in the quarterfinals against the referee. They lost 2-1. We'll be talking about the other quarter-final matches as well. Croatia against Brazil. Once again, the underdog winning there. Morocco, Portugal, the underdog winning there. And Netherlands, Argentina. A chaotic fight ending on penalties. And Lionel Messi's dream is still alive. Before we go any further, Gaskey, I've got a fun fact for you. Would you like to hear it?
Well, here we go.
Would you like to hear it? Okay, wonderful.
I do.
So, here's a fun fact. Since 1982, okay, there's been at least one Bayern Munich and Inter Milan player in every single World Cup final every single World Cup final from 1982 to present.
Because I remember this coming up, the last World Cup final, because it was it Perisic?
Yes,
was the one in that one,
and Tolisso for Bayern Munich, who did come on to make an appearance. And as it stands, Argentina, Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan, Brozovic, Croatia of Inter Milan, and also there's a Bayern Munich player who makes the bench. France, Upamecano for Bayern Munich. And there's also Coman and Pavard who can come off the bench. Yeah. And Morocco, they've got someone who plays for Bayern Munich. I can't remember his name. It's like it begins with an M.
Oh, Mazraoui.
That's the one. Yeah. So it's unless injuries,
it's going to continue.
Exactly. It's almost impossible for it to not happen.
Is this featured as well? Not in the squad. Featured.
So they have to come on the pitch.
Right, okay. Oh, that's mental. Did you say every World Cup or since 82?
Every World Cup final since 1982.
That's actually incredible.
Absolutely mad. Yes, that's definitely going to continue. But I'll tell you what won't continue, my dreams of England winning the World Cup. Because, Gaskey, we lost to France. Hooray! 2-1. Gaskey, give me sort of thoughts before the match. How confident / optimistic were you, and how crushing was the defeat?
I'm going to start our whole discussion. I want to stay positive. I'm going to talk about the good things, and then we'll go down the meltdown route. That's my thought.
That's fine.
So I feel like throughout this World Cup for England, it is the best I have ever seen England play.
I agree.
Personally. Just every position just seems to work. Obviously, the USA game was a bit of a dodgy game, but he changed something, and like bringing Henderson in, and it worked. You know, and throughout the tournament, even the France game, I was actually enjoying watching them, and I've never had that of watching England, of actually enjoying it, knowing that there's so much talent there, there's so much depth, and the fact that people are arguing about certain players not playing is good because it shows that they've got that much depth. It's not an argument of that's our best 11, we're screwed because that's all we've got, which is how it felt in the past. It makes me proud that I get to watch and enjoy this England squad. Mm-hmm. They're all young as well. 4 years' time, they're all going to be late 20s should be at their prime.
Yeah,
so
100%. And also,
so more than anything, obviously, people say arrogance and delusional England fans thinking they should win it and things, blah blah blah. It's enjoyment. It's enjoying it. I said, it's no matter what club you support, you want them to win everything.
Yeah,
you know, and you can say you're arrogant for that, for wanting them to win and saying what they deserve to win and stuff. Like I felt England deserved to beat France in terms from over 90 minutes.
Yeah,
they did. Personally,
yeah,
I'm happy with the performances, and I think it hurts more this loss because they have been arguably one of the best teams in the tournament. Whereas past tournaments, you would feel like they stumbled through. The Euros, apart from the Germany game, they stumbled through everyone pretty much. The group stages of the World Cup 2018 stumbled through, and then apart from the Sweden game, really, where they were comfortable, every other game was a bit hey ho. But this one, they performed so well, and I think that's why it hurts more.
And that's even more miraculous when you consider that a few months ago we were getting relegated from our Nations League group.
And Southgate's throwing free at the back at you. It's just...
Yeah, it just goes to show that if, as soon as they listen to what we were saying, play the back four and introduce other players and maybe drop other players, then this group of players might actually play well.
It's crazy to think, 'cause I was thinking about this before. If you go back about 4 or 5 podcasts before the World Cup, we were having a bit meltdown about what we were going to witness at this World Cup. And 5 podcasts after, we're actually happy in a way of being able to watch them play that the way we know they can.
100%. And I think our critiques were absolutely right and fair. Like, I think we clarified that by saying if we play a back 5 and if we play like this, then that's the issue. He's obviously realised there were issues and has remedied them, and he's gone with the back 4. This actually goes into, we're actually sort of like erring more in towards our main topic right now in terms of Southgate, yes or no. But for me, I think it's a Southgate yes, because I think he'd made a lot of mistakes, but I think he's addressed those mistakes after the US game, as you mentioned. The US game was not good, but it's been nothing but improvement since then.
Yeah, definitely. He changed. He made a change. Or he approached the USA game, wrong. Every manager does that. There's always games they approach wrong. Most clubs do it. They'll have a game and they'll be horrendously wrong and they'll lose. Manager will own up. Brought Henderson in. It worked. So why take him out? Only thing I would probably debate is in a World Cup, do you think you should start Rashford more based on the fact that everything was working for him? Potentially, rather than playing other players. I don't know, maybe you can argue that, but it's still difficult to, push anyone out of that team the way they were playing.
Yeah, I think it's hard because Saka's almost undroppable, and we saw how good how influential Foden was in the Wales and Senegal game.
Saka could easily have been subbed off for Rashford at half time in that France game, but second half he was incredible.
100%. Yeah, so I'm honestly really happy with Southgate. We'll touch on it specifically in the France game now, but Gaskey, are you now? For me, this tournament was like a test of, do I want Southgate in or out? I think I'm more than happy for him to stay.
I'm on the fence a little bit, only because if it was your club, right? If it was your club and you had a manager that you felt couldn't get you over the line, do you think it's right? Do you think there should be a change there? Because if let's say Guardiola was to leave, right, and you'd get a manager in and you'd play well, but you just fall at the final hurdle every time for 4 or 5 years, would you just think, I'm sick of this, give me something different?
I would think that if I didn't think that Southgate couldn't do it. I think that what we're seeing is progression, as the team's also improving as well. But you said it before, 2018, I just don't think the players were that good. So and we deserve to get in the semi-final. In the final, Southgate did get it wrong for me. I think we could have won that match, but you got it wrong. But I've just seen him out-tactic Didier Deschamps, who is a World Cup winning manager. So in the France game, I don't really know what more Southgate could have done. So I actually do think he could be the man. And also, the two options who I might want, who I've talked about before, Graham Potter and Eddie Howe, I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon.
No. That's the one thing I will take where I want him to stay, is the fact that he looks like he's learning. Because, like you said, he got tactically wrong in these other past games. But this game, he made France fear England, which is what I said. I said, I want them to fear England, don't fear them. And they didn't. They were playing their way. France couldn't handle it. Upamecano was having a horrendous game, and he was lucky to even not get booked, to be honest. And he kept clearing it straight to a midfielder, and they were just constantly pushing at him, not letting him breathe. Griezmann was just had a good game. And I think the difficulty they had in the game was, you could tell how England play is they stack the wings with the midfielders to help out the wingers. And it just creates a massive hole with Rice on his own, and Griezmann just played into his strengths. So potentially someone can do what Henderson can do, which I think is Bellingham probably, and then someone else to come in and do the Bellingham role on the other side, which is probably better. But yeah, I think just the way it just worked, didn't it? It just felt like it worked. Yeah.
So I mean, let's get into the France game now. So obviously it was obviously France won 2-1. That's how it worked. in the end, it was the same lineup that we saw from both sides in the round of 16, which is what we all wanted, I think. Southgate's found the winning formula, it seemed. And a lot of narrative before the game was Mbappe versus Walker. Walker's got no chance, even though Stones and Walker have played Mbappe twice, and they won both of those games. So I don't know where that was coming from. And I thought that, again, the way Southgate set up the sides, Walker plus Henderson coming over, meant that we essentially nullified the Mbappe threats for nearly all of the game, which isn't hard to do. Which is hard to do.
It was only one. Yeah, exactly. There was only one sniff. There was that one foot race they had, and one's a 23-year-old, one's what, 31-year-old. However old Walker
32,
is.
I think.
I would be surprised if he didn't get past him, to be honest. But he still kept up with him. What I'm glad about is my concern would be that they approached the game where they just worried about him, but they didn't. He just went, right, sure, you get up the other end. Walker, you just play a bit, don't go too far. Henderson won't be far behind, and you just concentrate on him, and we'll work it from there. And it worked. Because he didn't do anything. I mean, obviously, the difficulty then was dealing with Griezmann, because I think Griezmann then took it into his own, and he did most of their stuff that you would expect Mbappe to do. But apart from, I mean, he created both goals, Griezmann, but the first one, it's tough to debate or place blame. I mean, they all came rushing back, and I think maybe you could say that they came back too far, so they weren't able to push in and stop the shot, but it was a cracking shot. And then the second goal was just fantastic. It was just prime number 9, what makes a world-class number 9, really, for me. So,
If I had to be before we even touch on the referee, if I had to just be hypercritical of our players, I think that for the first goal, Bellingham maybe should have got out a little bit sooner and could have stopped that shot. Argument.
He felt like he came as if he came back too far. Yeah. Like he was running back and he went 2 miles too far, so he couldn't get back out to stop the shot. That's the only criticism that will be there.
Yeah, and then similar for the second goal. Again, I am being hypercritical, but it's fine margins at this stage. Once again, I think that cross could be stopped at source by Henderson if he gets tight enough to Griezmann. But he didn't get tight enough quickly enough, and Griezmann is able to flip. And then they can make question marks over the centre half. Should they do better? But it's a really good cross, and it's a really good header as well. So so if I'm being hypercritical of the players in those instances, then technically the goals could have been stopped. But there were 2 very good goals ultimately. But there's another element of this match, Gaskey, that we cannot ignore.
Yes.
And before I talk about this, I just want to make it very clear. This is a knockout match. Decisions matter in knockout football because literally, whilst they can't define a season, a league campaign, which is 38 games, they can define a one-off match over 90 minutes or 120 minutes or whatever. And if a decision is wrong and it leads to an illegitimate goal, especially the first goal, which, the one that breaks the deadlock, that is huge. And the first goal should not have stood because it was a foul on Saka.
I agree. The only argument I would have is if he disallowed that goal, would England have played as well as they did because France were on the front foot? And I felt like that goal goes in, England pull the finger out. If I'm going to be weird, but still, and you can point the finger at the ref. The linesman stood there. The linesman is literally looking at it, and when you watch the replay, he tackles him twice. He does it twice. And he tries to. He's doing the typical Englishman thing of staying on his feet, which people get annoyed with who are English that play like the rest of them do. They cheat, join them. But he stayed on his feet. He tried to, and then he went, "I can't do this. He's just kicking at me." And then the linesman goes, "Oh, play on," and then they scored. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It was very annoying because I can't remember exactly what minute that goal came in, but for the first few minutes you were right. I thought France were on top for like the first 10 or so minutes. I thought Bellingham, Henderson in those first few moments maybe a little bit nervy. They kept giving the ball away, but in that moment I thought the game was quite even. England had weathered that early pressure. Walker was getting forwards in that phase, and then Saka gets fouled. So obviously we'll light at the back because that's the first time in the match where Walker's pushed forward to cause Hernandez an issue because Mbappe's not tracking back. And then it all flows from there, and then it leads to a brilliant finish. But it's an illegitimate goal, and it shouldn't have stood. And we're right. And this is just the point I was making about it being knockout football. We are right and allowed to be annoyed and upset that goal's been given, aren't we?
Yes.
I've just seen like some people going, "Oh, it's like let's get over it." It's like it matters, man.
No, it's a match that you, as a country, you have minimal time to prepare. It's every 4 years. and some random Brazilian referee, who I think just referees in the Brazilian league, that none of these players even playing, has made these decisions, who clearly doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Allegedly, this Brazilian referee, or this person who manages in the Brazilian league, apparently isn't very good in the Brazilian league. That's according to certain Brazilian fans online.
How does he get picked?
I don't know.
I just don't. I understand it's the World Cup. We need referees from across the world. Well, I'm pretty sure that most of these players play in Europe. The best leagues are in Europe. Pick European referees then.
Yeah, or ones that manage in like European leagues. For the latter stages, you'd think.
Especially, like, you see that French bloke, I can't remember what his name is, I think he's French, who I haven't seen him since the group stages. And he's arguably one of the best referees in the bloody world. So I don't get it.
Well,
I don't get it.
He's not been asked to come back for the semi-finals, I know that much. He's been sent home. That referee.
Are you sure about that? Because I'm sure that was the one for the Netherlands-Argentina game where they said go home, and this guy hasn't actually got it. Has he actually been told now to piss off?
Yeah.
Good.
That's according to what I've seen online.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. So...
but yeah. So and it wasn't just like that huge decision that he got wrong. It seems. I mean, Saka just seemed to be the target of so many fouls.
It was for me. What really irritated me was it was consistent. It was France knew what they were doing. They were just cynical tackles where they'll be like, it's not enough to get me booked, but it's enough to stop them. But eventually you have to be like, right, that's it. I'm going to book you every time you do that now. But they didn't. He left it so long. So the France were like, oh, it's work. We've got most out of it now. We can just leave it now because we've managed to survive 60 odd minutes doing it. Mm-hmm. And he got like that Upamecano guy just kept trying to nick the ball when he couldn't win it, fouling consistently, and England got nothing from it.
Yeah,
it was just an absolute shambles.
Terrible. And you think of how good we are at set pieces as well. Those fouls in and around the box, they could produce serious chances.
Not just that, it completely breaks up play and it completely stops any momentum that England get. And it's fouling. It's like, okay, it is considered tactical, but it gets to a point when you've done it that many times, the referee has to go, look, I know the tactical, but I'm yellow. You're doing it over and over and over.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know.
Very frustrating, very, very annoying, and especially because I thought that England were the better side overall. I know a lot of people have said, "Oh well, France were only letting you dominate the play because they were winning or whatever." Well, they were also better at 1-1 in the first instance, and secondly, there's no way that France were clearly uncomfortable in respect of what we kept doing.
They kept giving it away. Whenever England would attack, they would just give it straight back. That is not what they were trying to do. If they were trying to play counter-attack or whatever, then they'd be able to build up from the back and pass it around England's press. They could not. They just kept giving it back. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that it wasn't part of the game plan for Upamecano to get done by Harry Kane and Saka like over and over and over again. I'm pretty sure that wasn't part of Didier Deschamps' master plan. I'm pretty sure that actually England were putting them under pressure that they were not comfortable with at all.
Because I keep seeing people's argument going, oh yeah, France didn't get out of third gear. No, they couldn't get out of third because England didn't let them get out of third gear. That's the difference. You can't just say, oh, France could play better than that. Yeah, they probably can, but England has stopped them from playing better. That's what you need to look at.
100%. And I know that, Didier Deschamps himself even said it was similar to the 2018 semi-final against Belgium. I disagree with that because in that match, Belgium had all of the ball, but they just didn't do anything with it. They weren't actually producing any like genuine offensive threats.
Similar to Belgium this year.
Yeah. But England, not only did they have more of the ball, they were creating more chances.
Yeah,
they were creating better chances. Lloris, I know Pickford did a really good save himself, but Lloris kept making like world-class save after world-class save. It seemed that Harry Kane one in particular, that's a big chance. And the Bellingham volley as well. So I just don't buy it. I feel like some people are trying to downplay how well England played in this game.
Yeah. People just wanted England to lose that much that they don't want to admit that they actually played well.
Yeah, which is really weird to me. I've never understood that.
No, if you want them to lose, you want them to lose, fine. But how about you just get some decency and just admit that, okay, I'm glad they lost, but they did play well. So it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, really odd. But then obviously a lot of the focus has been on Harry Kane. He scored one penalty, and sadly for England, he also skied a penalty. Now, obviously, he should score the penalty. Of course, he should score the penalty, which is like an 80% chance to score. You can make the argument that, he couldn't handle the pressure. But he scored his penalty in the Euros final, didn't he? So
yeah,
it's just one of those.
I don't think that he's one of those. End of the day, if you asked him to now go and do the exact same situation 100 more times, he probably puts it in 100 times. I think it's just one of those where it's just gone wrong for him at the wrong time.
Yeah,
so
and that coupled with the fact we played so well, coupled with the awful refereeing, which resulted in an illegitimate goal being awarded to France, it's. I'm not bitter about the performance. I'm proud of the performance. I'm proud of the England players. It just leaves a bitter taste in the mouth of what could have been on any other day, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but. That was England's defeat to France. Gaskey, do you have any more sort of thoughts on that game overall and your thoughts for the future, maybe?
No, I mean, I'm excited for the future based on the fact that most of these players are young. They've got all the years ahead of them. They're going to improve. Potentially, Bellingham, England's probably greatest player at that tournament. He's going to get better, and he's potentially going to join a bigger team than Dortmund. And he's going to get better and better and better, which is going to be exciting. And there's going to be more young players coming through. So there's going to be plenty for England to choose from. Even if it's Southgate or not, I'm excited to look forward to the next World Cup. And
yeah, it feels genuinely, I touched on this in like my most recent YouTube video, it feels like there's a genuine future, and it feels, I've never felt so good about an England side for like 20 years or whatever. Just at the start of this could be a new golden generation at the start of the first golden generation.
We saw the end of our golden generation thinking it was going to happen, didn't. An absolute shambles between 2010 2016, and then we didn't think we were going to go anywhere, and then this is where we're now. So
exactly. But this will be different. I think this team is more than capable of winning.
Well, it was Gary Neville that said it, didn't he? He said, "I've played an England team before, but I've not seen a talented England team like this one. That much talent in it." So,
interesting, yeah.
He said so. It's interesting. So he's obviously seeing it from the outside, thinking, "There's so much there. Yeah. There is so much there."
And this is a team as well. I think that's important to note.
And even the result was a loss, they can compete. They can compete with the world champions. So
yeah, and we're, as I say, we're actually a team rather than when it was Sven-Göran Eriksson's group of players was just, I'll shove as many of my best players in without really thinking about how it fosters a team. I think the dressing room's in a really good state. Atmosphere is happy. And
what we've got now is we've got a lot of fans who are like saying, "Oh, Maddison should have got game time," which is good because, I would love to see Maddison play, but you've got to drop someone, and there's no one to drop. So that's the type of depth they've got there. They've got a lot. So if someone struggles or someone gets injured, someone's going to come in. So it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, and I think in 4 years, none of the, aside from Walker, who will have retired from international football, but Reece James is coming in. That's not a downgrade. Same with Henderson. Bellingham can come in. That's not a downgrade.
Bellingham can only get better, and that means you can put another more attacking player in that midfield as well. Yeah,
and the oldest player is going to be 32 years old. Which isn't old at all.
The striker. Hurricane, isn't it? The striker. So.
Yeah, and Stones and Pickford as well. But that's not old by any means. So next World Cup, maybe we'll actually be in a better position. And if you think of Declan Rice, who will go to a bigger club and will learn how to play in a more possession-based team. Saka will experience Champions League football with Arsenal now. Foden will hopefully move to a more central role for City now that De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo will have moved on by then probably. And I think that if anything, will be even stronger. That I think Rice, Bellingham, Foden will be a more legitimate midfield.
The Rice and Bellingham for me, because they're the two most important players. I think you could kind of tell when playing these massive games that as much respect to West Ham as possible is that Rice plays for West Ham.
That's what I mean.
He's not used to playing progressive. He's used to just playing right, play safe, which you don't want when you're playing for a massive country. So. Yeah, hopefully he gets his move and then he can learn to play progressive.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. I just when I was watching the match, there was just one moment in particular. I'm not having to go at Declan Rice because I like him as a player, and it's a high standard for him to compare him to.
Yeah.
But John Stones in that France game passes it to Declan Rice, and Rice just immediately plays it out to like the left back or Maguire because he's got two French players near him. And Stones, his reaction is quite funny because he sort of does like an exasperated, like, like that sort of reaction because he knows at club level.
Because there was a moment I saw as well. I think it was Foden. Foden's so used to playing just quick and going forward. I think he tried to lay one off to Rice, and Rice didn't move. He was like, I'm not going any higher up. Whereas Foden's like, well, get in that gap there and let's play. Let's get moving up the pitch. So that's what just having that, one's got a winning mentality and one's conservative.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what's lacking with Rice personally.
Yeah, if he goes to like, let's say, for argument's sake, like an Arsenal or a Chelsea, a bigger club, hopefully that can add to his game, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The future's bright. Right. I'm not over it, not over the refereeing, can't lie, but it's whatever.
Never mind.
It's whatever. That wasn't the only quarter-final game that took place, Gaskey.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not. We had another three games, starting with the brawl. That was Netherlands 2, Argentina 2. Argentina winning on penalties in the end. I'm just like looking at the match right now. I didn't actually realise that Denzel Dumfries got sent off in the 128th minute. I can't actually remember that happening.
I think it might have been after because it all boiled over after it finished. I think.
Oh yeah.
He started trying to fight him, didn't he? You wanted a bit of it.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
So this was a very interesting game. I've not really been that impressed by the Netherlands at this tournament so far.
Well, you didn't have Louis van Gaal as your manager of your club, and I am not surprised it was like that because that's what it was like being a United fan, just so you know. All that talent and then just boring.
So Argentina took the lead, went 2-0 up, all hope was lost. Netherlands were not in it for 80 minutes. And
then big old Weghorst came on.
Yeah. And out of nowhere, I think it was because they scored the first goal, and then out of nowhere, Argentina shat the bed defensively, and they panicked, and then the Netherlands equalised with, for me, the goal of the tournament. That's my favourite goal.
It was just a FIFA goal, wasn't it? It's just like when you know the defenders on FIFA are not going to move, I'll just pass it.
Yeah, I just love the invention. I love the nerve. That was in the 110th minute or something.
That's like arguably the last kick of the game. It's literally exactly the same situation with England with Rashford's free kick. Wasn't it? Like the last kick of the game. I don't even know who took the free kick, but to have the balls to go, I'm not going to shoot, so I'm going to pass that.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
I love it. It was the 101st minute, by the way, not the 110th. Let's see who got the assist, shall we, on that brilliant...
Who took that? Who had the balls to pass that?
On that brilliant free kick. It was scored after added time. Cooper Miners? I'm butchering that pronunciation.
Oh, I don't know. It's like a radar. I don't know who he is. No, I don't know who he plays.
Cooper Miners, I don't know. But yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Fantastic goal. And then, but there were many fights in this game, Gaskey.
Yes, there was. And it was just, I'm trying to find the nicest way of saying it, but it's these South American teams just seem to have this, I don't know, like this fire, this nastiness and this fire. Like, I would love for Messi to lift the trophy, but I don't want Argentina to lift the trophy. That's how I feel.
And who's the one player in particular that we both hate with a burning passion?
Number 5. I don't want to wish his name. Paredes. I remember it was the Champions League, United against PSG. He tried to get Fred sent off that game. He was trying his hardest to get Fred sent off, which he succeeded at. And I just thought, this guy is a prick, an absolute prick. And I'm glad that Van Dijk sent him back to PSG.
Yeah, that was so good, wasn't it?
He absolutely bodied him. And he didn't get booked for it, I don't think either, which is even better. The referee knew he was a prick and went, I'm going to accept that.
It was just hilarious, wasn't it? It just like came over.
He didn't even start, he just came at full pace and went, I ain't slowing down.
And for me, Paredes, genuinely, he should have been sent off because he kicked it purposefully.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, so for me, that's in the modern day, that's a red card, in my opinion.
Again, referee bottled it.
Well, we were talking about bad refereeing. This referee also was grossly incompetent. So many yellow cards. A lot of them needfully given. So many like randomly given. I'm not sure. Again, this is something I saw online. It appeared that the referee booked Van Dijk twice, but he didn't send him off. I don't know if you've seen that video.
No, I've seen that. No.
It's like the game's over, so like 120 minutes have been played, and it looks like he shows a yellow card to Van Dijk or someone in that area, but Van Dijk had already been booked.
Hey, it might have been there he got sent off because he missed his penalty.
Yeah, so it's just bizarre. Argentina obviously won on penalties, but this was a master. Fights aside, Paredes, who's a rat, even when he was against City for PSG, was an absolute rat. This was like a 10 out of 10 performance by Lionel Messi, who is once again dragging his team through to the latter stages of the World Cup for another World Cup campaign. Is it his year? Actually, no, we'll get into the predictions later, so I'll ask that later whether it's Messi's time. But certainly, he did all he could to take his team through.
He did. There's nothing more he could have done.
Yeah, to the semi-final. Another match which went to penalties was Croatia 1, Brazil 1. Croatia winning that one on penalties. This was a really boring game, I thought.
Yeah, this game, I felt Croatia had a game plan. Croatia's game plan was stay in it.
Yes.
Stay in it for as long as you can and nick something if you can. Until they went behind and then they realised we're going to have to try. And the fact that the commentator even said, Croatia have not had a shot on target this game, pass goal. The commentator cursed. There's a jinx. If you listen carefully, the commentator goes, Croatia have not even had a shot on target, so I can't see anything happening. And they were like, 3 passes later, they've scored.
Would you like another fun fact? Right, so I think this is the correct year. Croatia have not won in the World Cup matches. They've not won a World Cup knockout match over 90 minutes since 1998. So they always go to extra time. Always. And obviously penalties in this instance. Neymar scored a brilliant sort of like a 1-2 goal, really nice.
Goal.
Sorry?
I mean, it was a good goal, but I questioned the goalkeeper on that. I thought, why is he not just like going down with his full-size body? Why is he going on his knees?
Yeah, that was bizarre. But as you say, Croatia finally got the equaliser. Why on earth was Rodrigo, who's a very young chap, not even Brazil's second best penalty taker, why is he the first man to take a penalty? I don't understand that.
Because I thought, based on the subs he was making, there was no one left on the pitch. I felt like he's changed the whole front three, and there's about, Neymar hadn't even taken one. Yeah. And I think there was about three arguably penalty takers on that pitch, if that. And it was just there's no one left.
So Neymar was geared up to take the 5th one, which, in theory is a decisive one. But
I never understand that. Why don't you best take the first one?
I totally agree, or at least your second best. At least
you should go. I should always think you should go and take the lead. Start. I understand, like, you want to leave someone good just to go. No,
got to score you first.
Go and score 3 off the bat with your best players, and then deal with it afterwards. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Like, if you have to put Neymar 5th, get Casemiro first because he can clearly take a penalty based on that.
No nonsense penalty.
Yeah,
hit it.
I don't know why. Like Rodrigo, who's like 21 years old. Why is he being put into that high pressure situation for the first penalty? Did not understand that at all. But Croatia got through. Huge congrats to them. They've been that entertaining to watch in this World Cup overall. There've been some nasty games in terms of entertainment, but they're in a consecutive semi-final.
But I hope it's not France-Croatia again. I can't be asked. Or Morocco-Croatia final will be interesting.
No, that will be... We might as well just take that to penalties. That's 0-0.
That'll be the lowest. That will literally be they'll just might as well just sit on the floor and just be like... 0
XG, 0 shots, 0 anything in that match. But with that, Gaskey, it almost 100% means Neymar's not winning the Ballon d'Or this year. Also, it might be Neymar's last World Cup because he's talked about how it might be his, even though he's young enough to do another one. He's talked about the pressure of it. Yeah. What do you make of the whole Neymar situation? Because just in terms of like career overall, because he was geared up to achieve so much, whether that was for his club or country, and on an individual level. And since he's left Barcelona, it's just not happened.
I think his ego's got better of him. To me, he feels like he's a genuine player. He's not one of these like up his own arse type person. He's a genuine player. He loves his football and he wants to win everything. But I felt like when he was doing it perfectly at Barcelona. At Barcelona, he could have stayed there. They carry on doing what they're doing. Suarez will get replaced by someone. Messi might end up leaving, and maybe he'll be the face of it. But I felt like he was like, I want to be the guy. I want to be that guy for a team who everyone loves. And I feel like he's regretting that.
Yeah.
I think part of him regrets making that decision when he could have stuck around. Barcelona might not be what they are now, potentially, but I think that's what it is. I think he should have just stuck around.
But you know what the sad thing is? He left Barcelona to become the main man at PSG, and then 1 or 2 years later, Mbappe comes along, and he's the main man.
Yeah.
And then Messi comes along again. He can't escape him. So it's an odd one for Neymar. I feel like he's I saw this on Twitter. It was a really interesting comparison. Neymar is the Andy Murray of football, in that if Andy Murray was in almost any other generation, he'd be considered a world beater and like one of, I know Andy Murray was, but he was really unfortunate.
He's in the same generation as Federer and Nadal and Djokovic. He's just like, no matter what, you're going to be fourth. Don't make a difference. Yeah, you just always going to be fourth.
And it's the same thing with Neymar. He just happened to be in a generation with the two greatest players to ever play the game, and he's like the forgotten man in a way.
But then as they're aging, he's just on the edge where these new players are coming through and taking him up. Yeah.
He's sort of caught between generations in a way. Yeah. Like you said it yourself perfectly. Messi and Ronaldo are moving on. We're already talking about Mbappe and Haaland.
And forgot about him, that he exists.
Yeah, which is a shame, because I think he could have. I think had he stayed at Barca, I think obviously injuries are a thing as well, but I think he could have become that guy.
Definitely.
But it's a shame. And maybe that's the end of his World Cup. I think he will do one more. Quick prediction: will he come back for one more?
I think he'll be the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. And the final quarterfinal, it's a fairy tale story for Morocco.
It's nothing but incredible.
I think it's fair to say, as Morocco beats Portugal 1-0, with one of the Moroccan players getting like 2 yellow cards in the space of like 10-15 minutes or something mad. Can't remember. It was like a substitute came on and got sent off almost immediately. So that was quite funny. And that's the end of Ronaldo's World Cup as well. So we'll come to Morocco. Let's just quickly talk about Ronaldo, just on the same vein of Brazil. It's as much as all the weird stuff with Ronaldo and the interviews has happened, it is sad. Do you think it's still a bit sad that it sort of ended like this?
No, it is because, like you said a minute ago, the two arguably the greatest players to ever exist, Ronaldo and Messi. So no matter what your opinion is of him, in the recent memory, he's still left a massive legacy. And knowing that's probably the last time he's going to step in the World Cup with all the greatest players in the world, and it's ended the way it has, is a shame. But to me, I think he does prove like how they're both considered the best. They're both coming to the end of their careers. One's carrying a team through to semi-final. The other one is just not doing anything. It shows that one is kind of further along in. I know he's a couple of years older, but he's further along in getting close to that retirement than the other.
Yeah, 100%.
And it is sad to say goodbye to one of the greatest players.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, it may have been that case for a while, but it clearly has. Even the managers realise it's sort of come to the point where it's better for the team to not play Ronaldo than to play him.
Well, can I drop my stat that I told you? That Maguire had more successful dribbles than Ronaldo in this World Cup. That confirms he's retired. He's ready to retire.
Yeah, definitely. And the sad, if you're a Portuguese fan, the sad thing is that Ronaldo came on and he had one quite good chance to equalise. Where the ball came, Morocco switched off just for like the one moment in the game they properly switched off. Ball comes to Ronaldo. It's not the easiest chance. It is saved, but you do feel like the Ronaldo of old buries that quite comfortably.
Yeah, but that's his signature shot, isn't it? That he can somehow generate that much power with no backlift, and that's what makes it so hard to stop. But that to me is a shot where you would think a younger Ronaldo puts that top corner at his near post.
Yeah. That is, and that's the end of Ronaldo's World Cup, because he's, how old is he? He's 37 now.
37.
That's going to be, I think he's now tied for most caps, 4 off 200 or something. So it's insane, obviously. Yeah. And it will be interesting to see where he goes next year, because he's now obviously not a United player. Yeah. Portugal are out. Played very well against, was it Switzerland? But came unstuck here by Morocco. Let's talk about Morocco now, who obviously out of all the teams left, they are the true underdogs. But what I like about Morocco is that they are very in the games against Spain, Portugal, they are very defensive. However, it's not like a Burnley defensive play where they just get everyone camped and then they're just hoofing it clear and just it's all of that. There's so much technical quality in their counter attacks. It's obscene.
Yeah, I was honestly shocked at how good their transition play is. It is incredible for players that you've with as much respect as possible never heard of, and they're playing this fantastic transition play under a manager that's managed them for 2 months. Bear in mind, he's incredible. Like the play is just fantastic. How they just move up the pitch, and I'm just like, how are they coming out from such a low block? Beautiful passing play up the pitch and ending with a chance against the best teams in the world. It's
insane. And
I just don't know where it's come from.
Oh, I'm so upset. I can't remember his name. It's whoever the number 8 is, and his name begins with an O. I'm going to name check him. Yeah. What's he called?
And that Amrabat as well is incredible.
Amrabat's amazing.
In that midfield.
He's outrageous. I think he plays for Fiorentina. So you feel like, I know teams don't normally scout off World Cups anymore, but you feel like a bigger club is going to come in for him.
You give him a go, wouldn't you?
I'm going to butcher this. Unahi. I don't know, the number 8. He was the one who was like driving forwards in those counterattacks. He's so leggy, if that makes sense. Like he's quite he's limsy.
How old
Do you know
is
what I mean? I don't know. Let's find out, shall we?
I completely butchered his name.
He's he's only 22.
Where does he play for?
He plays for Angers in Ligue 1. Is it Angers?
No.
Angus.
Angus SC.
Surely maybe it's Angers or something like that. But yeah,
hey, man, he's Angus.
Sign him up for City, honestly. No, but he was so. What I mean by like limsy and leggy is he looked quite tall. I mean, he's 6 foot. He's quite tall, and he just seemed to glide across the pitch really easily and really seamlessly in those transitional moments.
I think he's not their first choice in that position either, because I think it's Harit. I think he was out of the World Cup. He's injured for the season, and I think he plays for Schalke, and he's their go-to man.
Yeah,
and he's not even there, so he's not even the first choice. So that's quite incredible.
It definitely, like we obviously knew about the likes of Hakimi and Ziyech from
Let's be fair. That right side is the only players we knew.
Yeah.
Or maybe Mazraoui if you follow German football, but that's it.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to claim that. Yeah. I knew. Well, I know, and we knew Boufal from his days at Southampton.
Oh yeah. Who decides that when he's playing for Morocco, he's just incredible. It was the way it was. Was it the Portugal game when he completely floored him without touching the ball?
I think it was. I think so. Yeah.
It might be the Spain game. That was just amazing. Like that is how he used skill.
He was fantastic in both of those games, to be honest. And Amrabat's been. Well, he's going to be included in the team of the tournament for sure.
No, has to be.
I think their goalkeeper's going to be in the team of the tournament as well. Hakimi's been excellent.
Isn't he, as well?
Yeah, and
the leap for the goal as well.
Yeah,
Ronaldo would have been proud.
Yeah, I questioned the goalkeeping, but it was a fantastic jump and a fantastic header as well. Yeah, so I mean, Morocco have not had an opposition player score against them either
since June.
Was that right? Since June. Wow.
So that's the first goal they conceded since June, and it wasn't even opposition. So
yeah, if I was, I mean, I guess if you're a Moroccan fan, you don't really, we do care about getting knocked out in the semi-finals, but it doesn't really matter because you've come this far anyway. But the only fear would be they've only scored 5 goals throughout the whole competition, so they will. I mean, maybe it'll work out for them. 2-0-0s, penalties, boom.
Why not?
Well,
End of the day, there's only one person on the planet that's predicted this, and that was bloody Samuel Eto'o somehow.
Yeah.
So,
but I do want to make it known he also predicted Qatar to get to like the quarterfinals.
Oh yeah, no. Every other prediction is utter bollocks, but he somehow predicted Morocco to get to semi-final.
Yeah. Well, if you throw enough shite at the wall, some of it's going to stick.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So Morocco genuinely been excellent. Been so impressed with them. I've been more impressed with them than Argentina, for example. I think they're a better team.
I think if we're going to talk about consistency, Morocco have been the most consistent. Like every game, they've had a game plan. They followed the game plan, and it's worked to T every game. Other teams have probably had a bit of wobbles and unsure at times, but they've been the most consistent.
Yeah, and going into the semi-final, it now means they're the first African side to ever reach a semi-final. First Arab nation to also reach a semi-final. I believe that's correct as well. So huge achievement from them.
Yeah, very good.
And honestly, I can genuinely see them beating France.
I think there is no reason why any of these 4 teams left can win that. I will not rule out any of them because it's clearly working. We see Leicester win the league. So would you say them winning the World Cup is a bigger success than Leicester winning the Premier League?
Oh gosh,
I know Leicester winning the Premier League is over a longer period, but would you think that somehow Morocco coming to the World Cup and winning it is a bigger success?
I think you probably
Cinderella story.
I think you'd probably say it's maybe a bigger achievement just because of the storyline of also first African nation, etc.
Yeah.
I think I probably would say the Leicester one's harder because
longer over a longer term. It's not a knockout tournament, is it? But,
and in theory, you can fluke your way to some victories in a knockout. Not saying Morocco have, but you can do that.
But also who they're beating, because if they win it, they're going to have beaten Spain, Belgium, Portugal, Spain, France, and potentially Argentina or Croatia to win it. It would be incredible.
It would be, and obviously the first African nation to ever win a World Cup as well, which would be huge because it's got to happen at some point. Why not in 2022? Why not? Why not? Indeed. Was I going to say something wise then about Morocco and just my concluding thoughts on them? Oh, that's what I was going to say. Just in respect of, I'm going to talk about Belgium right now. Maybe them finishing third wasn't such an embarrassment because look, Croatia,
the winners are in their group.
Croatia and Morocco are both in the semi-finals. So
who would have thought that would be the group that's somehow going to go all the way?
Yeah. So technically, no, Belgium were bad. They should have beaten Croatia if not for a donkey called Lukaku.
Yeah,
but Morocco have been excellent. There were times in the Spain game where, to be fair, I think if Spain had a competent forward player, then maybe they would have lost that one. Maybe.
I think the only thing they haven't dealt with yet, Morocco, is competence at number 9, which they're going to get with France and Giroud. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can deal with it.
Yeah, and obviously 2 PSG teammates coming up against each other, Hakimi and Mbappe.
His turn now. He's dealt with Walker. Now he's got Hakimi to deal with.
Exactly. So, but it's going to be interesting either way. And Morocco genuinely have been unbelievable. Obviously, if you had them as your dark horses, great shout. Obviously, they've been the underdogs throughout, and they have been genuinely sensational.
Yeah.
But Gaskey, let's move on to our predictions and thoughts for the next round. We've obviously talked about all of them. In fact, let me just do a sound effect for us.
It's all here, and it's all football, all the time.
That was a nice break, wasn't it? Semi-final predictions. What do we think's going to happen? They are obviously... I forgot what they are. Croatia, Argentina, and Morocco, France.
I'm going for France, Argentina final. It's going to be
France, Argentina.
I think the Cinderella stories are over now. We're in the business end.
Okay, interesting. Are they going to be close games? Is it going to be?
I think it's going to be like 3-1 France and 1-0 Argentina.
Interesting. I can maybe see seeing it being the other way around. I don't see Morocco conceding 3 goals based on how good they are defensively.
See, I thought that, but then I just thought
France maybe too much.
I think when one goes in, a couple will.
Yeah, I can see that. I can also see France conceding because they have not kept one clean sheet this whole World Cup.
France leak.
So I think I agree. I think France Argentina final. Messi versus Mbappe final. Is it going to be a passing over the torch situation of goats?
I just feel like it's Messi's time. This is it now.
Well, that's the follow-up question. Predict the winner, please. If you think I agree, France Argentina. What do you think is going to happen in the final?
I'm going to. It's what head says France, heart says Argentina.
It would be,
and I'm going to listen to my heart, Argentina.
Yeah, I'm also going to predict Argentina to win, and I think that Messi will do something mad, and he will drag his team through to victory there.
Can we confirm that if they win it and Messi does drag them through, that he is the GOAT?
I mean, it's a shame that we even have to confirm it at this point.
Yeah.
We should already be.
No, but this is the thing that everyone has said. They've all said that he has not won a major trophy with his country. He wins the Copa America, and they argue it's a shit trophy, doesn't count. So now the World Cup. Are they going to argue because it's in Qatar, it's void? No, right? He's going to win it. He's going to win a World Cup. He's going to win a World Cup medal. He's going to be happy, retire from international football, and everyone can fuck off. That's what he's going to do.
Or what will happen is Morocco will get to the final, and they'll be like, "Oh, it was only Morocco." That's what they'll say.
Oh yeah, that'll happen as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go Argentina. I know this France side is good. I'm actually contradicting myself here because I did say that the winner of England-France would win it, but I don't really care because I can't be bothered with a back-to-back World Cup winner, to be honest. It's a bit boring.
Yeah.
To be honest, and
especially when France haven't really been exciting. Like they were very good at the last World Cup. They were exciting to watch, whereas this is just a bit like they're not.
They've been flawed, haven't they?
I don't think anyone has stood out this World Cup really, like to be absolutely amazing. Well, apart from of course, but no one's really hugely stood out. So it would be nice to see Croatia or Morocco win their first one. But I just want to see Messi win one. Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, and if France win or if Argentina do win, does that almost 100% confirm that Messi or Mbappe win the Ballon d'Or this year?
I think it should do. Especially if Mbappe wins the Golden Boot as well.
But what if what if PSG get knocked out of the next round by Bayern Munich in the Champions League?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that we're talking about the Ballon d'Or, right? We know it's weird anyway. It goes off team bloody trophies anyway, doesn't it? It's stupid.
Which it shouldn't
do. If Mbappe wins the World Cup, gets the Golden Boot in the World Cup, has a great season with PSG, he's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
It's not a great season if they get knocked out the round of 16, though, is it?
Well, we say that as fans who say that league shit, whereas they're not going to look at it that way, are they, when they're voting for the Ballon d'Or?
Well, they should do, because the league is shit, you're right.
No, they should do, but they're not going to. I'm being realistic.
It's League
of what would happen.
It's League...
Exactly, it's League...
Yeah. I'm just saying, because if my star boy Haaland scores like 1 million goals and is denied, and wins the Champions League and is denied because he physically couldn't take part at the World Cup... I'm going to be upset.
Because it's only 2 Norwegians that play football.
Yeah, that play football. Oh gosh, but yeah. So there we go. We've both predicted Argentina to win the World Cup, and the next podcast, by the way, chaps, will be and chapettes will be out after the World Cup has concluded. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. I was going to ask you something wise. I can't remember what I was going to ask you, Gaskey. What was I going to ask you?
You tell me.
What was I going to ask you, you little fraud of a man? Was it about Haaland? No. Mbappe? Messi? Oh, that. Right, so I know that Mbappe is obviously a great player. Right. Right. It's a term I've invented. Well, maybe not invented, but it's a term I've used and I haven't seen anyone else use it. Right. World Cup tax. Okay?
Yes.
In respect of Mbappe. He's a fantastic player. Brilliant player. World-class player. Maybe he'll go on to become the next Messi, etc. I'm seeing so many fraudulent individuals, because of this World Cup, it seems, trying to say that this man is already better than Ronaldo. Brazilian Ronaldo. What is that all about?
No. That says you don't need to make these comparisons yet. He's 20, what is he, 22? 23. 23, right? He's 23. Just leave it until he gets to 28 and see where he is. If at 28 he's still at PSG and he's still doing what he's doing now, cool. What if he goes to Real Madrid and does even more?
Yeah.
Then okay. Or what if he it's a stumbling block and gets a massive injury? Then you'll just be like, eh.
Yeah.
it was Mbappe. So you just wait and see.
You know,
You don't have to make comparisons after every single tournament.
Well, Mbappe will be 24 in 8 days. You know who had a Ballon d'Or by then? Ronaldo. That's who. The Ronaldo. Don't give me any of this. That's the annoying thing. That's why it's World Cup tax, because ain't no one talking about these comparisons at club level, but because it's happening at the World Cup, for some reason that means it's better. No. It's obviously important, but no. World Cup tax.
No, exactly.
That was what's ground Nobbins' gears this week.
Oh, is it your week?
That was just a little mini rant, just because, and it is mainly people that never saw Ronaldo who's saying that. But yeah, that annoyed me. But yes, that is the World Cup. That's what's a bonus. What's ground Nobbins' gears? Has anything ground your gears, Gaskey? Out of interest?
Holy ref! The ref grab my gears. I'd kill him.
There we go. But yes, so the next podcast will be after the World Cup, and that'll actually be the final podcast of the year. We'll then take a little break until the new year, and that's when we'll reintroduce NobCast and the mini games and the more structured format we used to seeing. It's just because it's the World Cup, we're going to focus on the World Cup.
Yes,
Gaskey, I will see you. Well, I'll speak to you obviously before then. But in terms of a podcast scenario, Gaskey, we're not going to see our wonderful viewers until the world champions have been decided. Momentous.
We won't. It's gonna be amazing, isn't it? There's gonna be someone who's gonna lift that trophy. Will it be Modric? Will it be Messi? Will it be Varane? Or will it be
Varane? It's Lloris, isn't it?
Lloris, sorry. I can't remember who was I can't remember who was the France captain. Lloris, or will it be whoever the Morocco captain is?
Yes.
Amrabat. I think it's Amrabat.
Is it? I thought it was.
I feel bad now. Whoever the captain is in Morocco.
Shall I Google it?
Oh,
right
Saiss, isn't it?
Oh, we got there.
Saiss.
Well done. I did not know that. So well done, Gaskey. Absolutely. That's his African football knowledge coming in clutch. But yeah, guys, really hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please make sure to leave a like on the video. If you're new, subscribe so you're also updated. If you're listening to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review and rating. And if you know people who like football podcasts, then feel free to share it with them. And we'll see you next time. From me, it's goodbye. From Gaskey,
Bye-bye.
goodbye, guys.